샛별
Hello. Hi. Wait. Hold on. Did I do it right? No, I didn't do it right. Shoot. Okay, hold on. The music suddenly stopped. Let me. Okay. I'll talk about this. Because it did affect. Yeah, it affected Enemy North as well. So anyway, hi. Welcome. Hi, Nacho. Nice to see you, even if it's in chat. But yeah, music is coming through now, right? Please say yes. As you can see, this is. Oh, that's right. I totally forgot. I am moving a little bit. Because I had to rig a little bit of my chapter 2 model for some live performances, so decided might as well use it in stream every once in a while. The only thing is that it's pretty CPU intensive still, and I don't think I'll keep using VTube Studio just because it's not very Mac compatible. But wait, hold on. I was hoping to put background music, but I think it's actually more difficult for me if I do that. Also, I'm having issues. There we go. There we go. I'm moving again. V2 Studio has some issues with my setup, which if you're a Windows user, great. I'm happy for you. It's a little bit harder when you're a Mac user. I tried setting things up on my laptop just to see how it would go because I realized, oh, that might be easier because everything's on Windows. Except I remembered why I bought a new computer in the first place. I forgot that. I was like, oh, yeah. So I can't run OBS with my interface because my interface is, I guess, too intensive on the CPU. It's a U80 volt one, which yeah, compared to like say the Focusrite Scarlett, it is a lot more heavier on the CPU, but it suits my voice the best. I don't know what to tell you. So when I try testing it out, oh hi there, say welcome, dip. Um, when I try testing it out just for like to prepare for a concert, the audio crackled a lot. It was like like that every like 5 seconds or so, especially when the string got rolling. It's just like, oh, we're doing stuff. We're also encoding. We're doing this. And we're doing that. And I'm just like, that's not gonna work for me. So I also had to re-record all that because of audio reasons. Also, as you can see, Actually, no, you might not be able to see because I did my best to try and cover it up. I am using VTube Studio's built-in background thing because I can't do transparency because Siphon Client got phased out since Mojave, which was a while ago, and that's basically the Mac OS version of Spout 2, which means I can't do transparencies. And I don't know if you can tell, my design for this version alone has transparencies just because of Star Song. The chapter 3 design has even more transparencies. So I kind of need that. Um so because of that, I'm still trying to figure the tech out, but hey, let's test things out before the actual debut, right? Guys, I'm so nervous. I'm actually so nervous. But yeah, how are y'all doing? How are your weekends? I know some like it rained a lot in Toronto, which we'll get to regarding Anime North POV, but like I know for some of y'all like it was a really rainy and really humid weekend. Just, yeah, great timing for that, right? Um but yeah, I hope y'all stayed dry. Hope y'all stayed what's the word? Like the air indoors was well managed at least. I don't know, I can't say that about my place. My place gets humid real quick. Also, yeah, there's stuff happening IRL that's kind of chaos as well. But hey, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. TLDR, the landlord has decided to put the place up for sale with investors this time. So basically, it's that's like a 95% or over chance of the place getting sold. So yeah, you might need to move real soon. Very likely we'll need to move real soon again. So yeah, that's also the other chaos happening in my life. So I hope y'all are at least doing well in that regard. Um, yeah. With that, let's just get started then. I guess if y'all were just like weekend was chill, didn't do much, maybe played games, watched anime, read books. Oh, that's cool. If you touched grass, even better. Hi, Chisaku. I spent like all day a slump. Honestly, I'm happy for you. Because on Saturday that was me too. Okay, so I guess yeah, that's a good place to start then. Let's start with Friday. So like I know the thumbnail says Anime North dance cover show, but I'm actually gonna just do my entire Anime North experience because there's still like the 25% of it that wasn't related to DCS. Um, but yeah, Friday. So traditionally, when I go in with Milia and Cloudy Boy, so because they drive, so I'll usually like just spend the morning of Friday as like most people would spend their Thursday. So we were spending that time like getting groceries because we want to save money on food and picking up things that would be necessary to run the show. Like for instance, like the first stop that Millie and I had to make was to the local Staples because we had to print out all the materials for DCS backstage. Um, that also I found Millie told me that day is like yeah, so I stayed up until I didn't start packing until like 1 in the morning because I kind of forgot. Also, I'm realizing the chat box is not working. GG, hold on, give me a second. Give me a second, guys. I thought this was gonna work, but I guess it didn't. Cool. Cool. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna open up Wankome. I was trying not to use Wankome because that also, like, I just wanted to see if this would work. Because it basically is just CSS, but it didn't work. Anyway, hold the thought. Let me find. Where you are. There you are. Uh, I had gotten rid of a lot of my old setup with on accident. So yeah, it's not as my without some scuff. Ah man, I was trying real hard not to though. I even spent an extra 30 minutes trying to get everything set up. That's not nice. Oh man, okay, that's fine. That's fine. Let me find the thing that I was using before. Here it is. Okay. Thankfully, it remembered on my settings. That's good. Let me just bring this and there we go. We can see chat now. Um. Yeah. Anyway, where was I? Right. Yeah. I don't think I've fully recovered yet. Okay, so Friday was just like get our stuff together day, basically. That's Fridays traditionally were. This time around was a little bit special though because I'd already told Millie. Obviously, they had to be the first ones to know. I told Milia and Nicole already that this was gonna be my last year. So I was just like, it's okay, like we can party. Like I was half joking when I said party on Friday, but like I really did plan on like bringing something. Fortunately, fine, and there were things that happened financially that kind of prevented that from happening. Unfortunately, so like it's fine. I was like, okay, whatever. It's the company that matters the most. But I hadn't realized until we got to the hotel. I think at around we got there at around the early afternoon, which is earlier than we would usually would come in, just because Milia was helping Ghost Girl Goods. Because they had a collaboration event, the Dadadan event with Hypercore. Um, for context, I should probably I've known Ghost Girl since like before her, like just in the early days of her brand. Um, so like that's why like you're gonna hear a lot of overlap between between names and whatnot. So yes, I for instance like the top I wore for DCS was an original Ghost Girl prototype, which I don't think it ever went to production. Just because it was back when she was still experimenting with her style, but like I paired that with like the pendant of Ghost Girl, um, with my usual get. If you saw my Instagram, you would have seen it, or if you were there, you would have seen it. Um, but yeah, like I had also brought another one of her like more well known items, but it was funny. But anyway, we had to get there around that time because of the they were selling tickets for that event on the Friday of that weekend, and they needed help, and so they all jumped in to support. I was the only one being like, okay, cool, I have some free time. Um, there was some personal things I had to do in the afternoon, but other than that, I'll be really honest with you, I was exhausted. Because like we had to get in and out of the car a lot on Friday, and for one of those, we really wanted to go to a spot that wasn't accessible. So it just didn't make sense to bring out the wheelchair for it when it's a restaurant. It for context, it was like a family. It was like an old. Oh, sorry, I tapped my mic. It was like an old family-owned pho restaurant. And we went there to get lunch because it was the most affordable option, and whatnot, in the area. Um, but that meant I had to walk a little more than I usually would, and I also decided I had made the active decision to not bring my cane, even though there was like this mental memo in the back of my mind saying like, "Hey, you should probably bring like that old collapsible one at the very least." But then as I was packing, I realized I had no room for it, so I was like, I probably don't need it. It's fine. Hi, she. How are you? Otsukare with work. Yeah. So for I'm just talking about Friday, which isn't a whole lot happening. So yeah, I didn't miss a whole lot. Just that, yeah. Um, where was I? Right. So we because of the like it wasn't that huge of a distance. It's just that like if you measure the back and forth, it's like just under my limit of what I'm able to walk before the fibro kicks in. Um so yeah, that happened. That was a little stupid on my part, but it was worth it because that pho tasted really good. But because of that, and also we had like just taking the wheelchair in and out of the car, and also I still had to take transit up to like the rendezvous point because there's no way in heck that I am making any of my friends that drive downtown if necessary. So Millie and I have known each other for so long now that we're just like very blunt with each other. Just like, I'm not going down. I'm not taking the car down. I was like, good. I don't expect you to. I'll meet you like at the midway point. So that to do that, I also had to wake up pretty early, and I had slept a little late the night before getting ready, while also trying to squeeze in a little extra debut prep. Yeah, to be like that. I'm glad I got delayed about that. I'll talk about that later. But like anyway, so by the time we get to the hotel on Friday, my friends go down. Most of my friends go down to help out Ghost Girl with the cafe ticket sales. Cloudy Boy mostly spent the time gathering free food and eating it as staff lounge food, basically. Like they feed us if we're staff at Anime North. So it was mostly just going around seeing what he could get and then eating, realizing he's still hungry, going back down, getting more food and coming back. But he did make a trip for me to help with something personal, so I appreciated that. And otherwise we were just like, oh no, uh, Cloudy Boy is the friend that I have more intense debates with, because that's what tickles his brain. Um so there was some of that. Num num hours, yeah. Except my num nums were I can't. Okay, yeah, okay. Fun fact. I'm allergic to most of the things that are in the staff room. I learned that last year. I was wondering, it's like I only had like what I thought. I think it's like pizza. I thought it was gluten free. Why am I still reacting badly to this? And then I realized, like, oh, it's cheap gluten free, which means they have a lot of additives. So I'm allergic to those additives. I'm also allergic to a lot of the muffins that they have, to a lot of, like, they have sandwiches, sure, and they can apparently like custom make one for you that is like not gonna kill you, but it just wasn't worth it to go all the way out to get it when we had already done groceries. So yeah, I mostly lived off of groceries and Milia's tuna salad. Egg and tuna salad, because she's like, there's not enough tuna in here for this to be called a tuna salad. I threw in some boiled eggs too. So yeah, I think I mostly ate that by myself because that was made specifically for me. But it was just like, I don't think you can have most of the things, so just in case, I'm gonna make this. And then the week before, she's like, test this out, see how you react to it. If you don't react to it, we're bringing this to AN. So yeah, I remember there was a bread thing that you said you couldn't eat. Yes, so most breads contain sugar, like simple syrup sugar. I can't have that. If it's like a grocery store brand bread, there's like a 75 to 80% chance I can't have it. There's one Canadian brand that I can have, which is weird. I think it was Harvest Grain. I can have Harvest Grain because they don't refine their flour too much and they don't put a whole lot of simple syrup sugar in it either. So yeah, I've been able to eat that perfectly fine. But if it's like Wonder Bread, absolutely not. No, you're not gonna want to be around me when I have that like 2 hours time. That's so sweet. Yeah, no, it's we look, like I said, like Millie and I have known each other for a very, very, very long time. I think we're coming up to almost 15 years now, if not like 10 for sure. It might be more than 10. Um, because I've met her since, actually, no, it might be 12. When was 2015? We met in 2015 during like an anime expo trip because Anira is our mutual. I went to school with Anira. Um, and that's how I got connected with the crew in Toronto. The people that I knew from that group in Toronto. Um, but yeah, because of that, like she's her love language is acts of service, I guess you could say. She's not like she's like, I'm not very sentimental and I'm not very like, I'm like, I will listen, but I'm not gonna give the best advice. So like what I can do for you is like I can give you food. I can make time for you just to sit there and listen to you. I can help you move. Like she's helped me move every single time I had to move in Toronto. she, this will come up later because I finally got a chance to look inside the thing that's been previewed on the thumbnail. But yeah, she's basically saying it's like when it's time for you to move again, like I'll help you then too. Um, so yeah, there's that. anyway, back to the story. Friday, the evening comes around. I mentioned earlier that I just like, oh, it's my last year, so like, if like just to keep the vibes light, I said like, we can party in the hotel room or something, just have a little thing. You get what I really meant was just like we can just like chill and eat food and like spend time together. I didn't realize again, acts of service. Milia had gone to Omomo and bought like not huge, but like they're just tiny little decorations. One of them was like a party garland sign. Another one was like a pom pom garland, and she just pulled it out very slowly. She's like, "Okay, time to set this up." I'm just like, "What's that?" And she's like, "You said you wanted a party, so I got party decorations." So that was really sweet. That was the first moment of just like, this is getting emotional. Oh no. So that got taped onto the very textured walls of the hotel. We were selling the Delta Hotel is the one for staff, so we had a room there was not accessible, even though she requested an accessible room because more senior members got priority. Anyway, that explains that. Yeah, 100%. What else is there? I mean, yeah, that evening, I think, yeah, Anaya also stepped out to grab very cheap and very aesthetic um pad thai and also another tom yum soup, I think it was. But you could tell this place was purely for like Instagram and not really for flavor. That was the ketchupiest pad thai I ever had. But I guess I needed like something like okay, so yeah, I guess it's a good time to mention this part. I learned during AN that one of the things that anorexia took from me was my brain capacity. So I guess my brain not only shrunk, but I was doing research on it after the convention. What happens is when you starve yourself for that long, you develop less wrinkles in your brain. Basically, you have a smoother brain. Um, and I think the gaps between the wrinkles are wider as well. If I understood that text properly, someone fact check me, please. But basically, because of that, the front anything that the prefrontal cortex is involved with, it ain't gonna do so well. Yeah, really, it really does. I learned that the hard way this weekend. The first one being that I was like, oh, I know I'm not supposed to be eating the sugar, but my body is still craving the sugar, so that pad thai with a lot of ketchup in it, obviously it's a ketchup with sugar in it, but I still had quite a bit of it. Um, it's okay, I crashed the next day. Um, anyway, like I ate that, and then I had also bought like discount scones from TNT, thinking that it would be okay. I checked the ingredients, like sugar's not that high on the ingredient list, should be fine. Bought it, ate it, had two. By the second one, I realized, I don't think I'm supposed to be eating this, and so didn't finish it. What I ended up doing next day, I might as well move on to the next day because Friday after that, not much else happened. So like we all slept. I think I slept okay Friday night because that's when I was starting to feel tired. But I also had taken a nap earlier in Friday when everyone was helping Ghost Girl downtown and downstairs. So yeah, day two, Saturday, we had to get up early anyway because of sound check. So for those who don't know, DCS has our sound checks. I guess I can't say R anymore, but DCS has their sound checks Saturday morning. Um, because we won't have enough time Sunday morning. Because for some reason, and it has never changed in the 15 years that this event has been running, Anime North's programming has decided to lump Anime North idols rehearsal or sound check with DCS's, and obviously everyone in the room is just like, well, clearly idol has to be prioritized because y'all are actually using the mics. Like, we only really need to see if the speakers are working and to make sure the dancers know where they're standing on stage. That's all we need to care about. So yeah, idol, you do you, and poor Kaidash, poor senpai. Every year there's at least one person that either barely makes it on time or doesn't make it on time. And so like if someone like for instance this year someone didn't make it in time partly because of the rain. I'll get to that story for Sunday. But for Saturday, we had our main quote unquote sound check, which is like an again, usually they don't give us the whole time slot for that either, but for some reason this year they give us the full 1.5 hours. So we're just like, cool, we're gonna RSVP system this time. So we RSVP systemed routines that wanted to use that time slot on Saturday to do the sound check instead of having to rely on Sunday. But as I mentioned earlier, the weather was terrible. It poor Spider She and Pyminster, they were there for Saturday only of all days, and like the weather was just disgusting. It was based. We don't usually get monsoon type weather, but that was the closest we've seen to monsoon type. There was there was so much rain, so much wind, humidity was insane, actually insane. Um, and yeah, like because of that, a lot of groups, even though they RSVP'd, they couldn't make it. Um, Two of them had disability concerns as well, and so the rain does not make that easy. They also didn't know that Con 8 is a thing. Or like, so cool. This is a good chance to mention this. If you are going to AN or Anime North, in any situation or actually any convention, check for their accessibility department. If you need accessibility access and it is a gigantic venue and like the Toronto Congress Center is split between two buildings that have a slope, a very very steep slope of concrete separating both of them. So there is what is usually a staff only access hallway with stairs and an elevator that's completely covered. But if you're not staff and you need access to that, you need to get like a sticker and or a badge attached to your convention badge, to say like, hey, this person has given clearance to use this passage. The reason why we have to limit it is because lazy ass people are gonna take advantage of it, and they're gonna a abuse the elevator that's in there, and b crowd up the space when that space is specifically designed for people who need a lot more clearance. I can't tell you how many times I've nearly run into people's kneecaps with my wheelchair just because I'm moving faster than they are. So yeah, I know I have not gone into an artist alley on a casual basis in a hot minute. I haven't been able to. Bro, that's literally what it's like out right now. Why'd you send that over? Yo, Boston sent it over first. I don't know what you're talking about. Talk to our American brothers first. I'm just like I was talking to right. Back to Saturday, we did our sound checks. The rings, high trains, yeah, no, that was crazy. Wait, did it reach you too? I thought you went out of town. Oh my gosh. My condolences. I thought you were free from it. I guess you weren't. Yeah, no, it was bad. It was really bad. So, even though our RSVP slots were full, most of them didn't even show up, or they showed up really late. They're just like, I just got here and it's like 10:45, but we're closing doors at 11. No, wait, sorry, it was like 11 o'clock, but we would be last call would be 11 because then we have to scooch everybody out by 11:30. So like 10:45 to 11, people are just like rushing in, soaked. Just like, hi, I'm here for this group. Okay, thank you, and they run in. So yeah, that was crazy. I also lost my voice on Saturday more than I did on Sunday, which I did not anticipate. I thought I was gonna lose my voice more on Sunday. No, Saturday I was like being like, "Are you trying? What are you looking for? Are you with dance cover? Or no? No, you're gonna have to come back later. They're doing a closed sound check. You're not allowed in." But yeah, because like the people who were in charge, the only people that really needed to be inside were the people like manning sound and one of the organizers. So like I think Milia and Nickel would switch places a lot, but Milia was mostly outside. Um, and yeah, so just a lot. There were a couple of times that people like tried to be like just charged through. I'm just like, hey, bud, and they're like, huh. I was like, no. Before I could even say no, they just turn around because they knew they got caught. I'm just like, bro, who do you think you're dealing with? If my friends don't catch you, I will. I have wheels. I can catch up real fast. So yeah, I remember scaring one guy away. That was more the majority of the week morning. That being said, what I had also agreed to before the convention weekend, Pretty Night Lori. They will first of all their birthday was earlier that weekend. So what they'll do is they host like a VTuber picnic. Usually outside. And generally it's invite only, unless it's outdoors. Outdoors is just like, yeah, like you can bring like plus ones or whatnot. Lightning struck next to my house twice. There was lightning for you guys. Yeah, that was crazy. Oh, it's probably because it started with you guys. It didn't. There was no lightning by the time it reached us. It was just winds and rain and humidity. But that was already bad enough. I think I would have preferred the lightning if I'm really honest. Because at least that means we can be like, okay, it's gonna chill out soon eventually. Like, you know that thing where you can count the seconds between the lightning flash and the oh no, was it like 2 seconds? 1 second apart? That's close. That's really close. Yeah, I think the closest that's ever been to my place is like 3 seconds apart. That's the closest. Never been 1 second. If it were 1 second, I would have been like, everybody, like, close your fucking windows and duck for cover. So, it was loud, yeah. Even when it's like 3 seconds away, it's loud. I can't imagine what it's like when it's 1 second away. My gosh. I'm glad you survived that. But yeah, that's insane. Thankfully, we did not have lightning or thunder. Actually, no. I take that back. We did have thunder. I heard it while I was in the hotel room. It was a little bit quieter just because the hotel windows are soundproofed. But yeah, never mind. There was lightning. My favorite is when it's 0 seconds apart and it shakes the house. That's happened twice in my life. That's just now. Anyways, gonna lurk while I type an essay in my little thread. Okay. Have fun with that. We look forward to seeing your Holosichi antics / adventures. I don't know what they call it, if it's an antics or not. Chain lightning, yeah. Unless I get slendered again. I wasn't slendering. I was speaking the truth. There's a difference. Okay. Anywho, yeah. So that was Saturday morning. So because rain and wheelchairs, the truth can still is loud. Sorry, I lost tracking. It's okay. I'll try to be nice. I'm still speaking the truth. I don't know what you're talking about, but okay. Anyway, right after we were done, by the time we finished soundcheck, I was already 30 minutes late to the VTuber picnic. And then Millie was just like, went into tunnel vision mode. It's like, oh, I need to get this and this. Shoot, they messed up. They basically messed up our signs. I don't know what happened. Like, she literally set aside the signs that we usually use in previous years and gave us brand new ones instead. I told her I suspect that they accidentally got rid of our signs, but Millie's just like, no, it would have been impossible to, because I labeled it with the Sharpie really big. There's no way. But I'm thinking just like, no, I think someone messed up and they didn't want to own up to it because too many of our signs were missing and I don't think she ever found them. Anyway, because of that, she was just like, I need to run and get this. Might as well do it while I'm still here. And I'm just like, can I please have to go? My mistake was that I accidentally snapped at her just because at that point I hadn't brought my seat cushion with me because I thought it would be fine without it and we had to get out of the car quick. I regretted it. My tailbone hurt so much because there wasn't my cushion has a hole in it that allows my tailbone to poke through. That alleviates the pressure and allows me to sit for long periods of time. I didn't bring that with me, and so by that point, my back was in a lot of pain. I was also late. The humidity was making it a lot worse. Humidity is fibro's nightmare. Um, and so like I accidentally snapped at her, but she was like, "No, I think I needed that because otherwise I was gonna keep tunnel visioning and I would have forgotten that I had to drop you off at the Delta." So we had to bounce from between the North building back to the Delta, which is basically downhill 1 block, which is usually fine if not for the fact that the rain had made traffic inside the convention worse. Because everyone was coming in late and everyone was driving because no one because transit was already a hot mess. No one wants to walk through that, and the thing is, a lot of people would usually walk through that, walk to the convention because they live close by enough, or their car is or they're staying in a hotel that is close enough that they could walk over. But this time, everyone was driving in, everyone was in a car. Not everybody was carpooling, and so it took another like 15 minutes, I think, to get out of the North building back south into the Delta. And that poor Spider, she and Prime Minister were already waiting for me, and I was late. And I'm just like, I'm so sorry. Um, Finally get there. They had to drop me off first, and also Millie was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna drive back to the North building now while I still have the car out instead of trying to find parking again. I'm just gonna do it now, try to find the signs again. So she dropped me off. I sped in, and just as I was getting through the first of the doors, I see a very tall figure coming towards the door. It was Pie Minster. So Pie opened the door. He's just like, Auntie! And then I see Spider Sheep directly behind him. So we managed to link up. I had to make a bile break, so I'm just like, hey, how about we make a detour to the hotel room first? That way I can also like drop off most of my stuff too. So we did that, which I later heard from Pi it ended up working out for them because I didn't know how rough it was for them to get there, and also I also needed to chill out anyway, so we took that time in my hotel room just to like chill out, warm up, maybe dry off a little. I gave them snacks. Um, and then Spider she had bought me earrings to when we last hung out together, and then I accidentally forgot to take them out of her bag, so she brought it home with her. I was like, oh no, the earring. And she's like, okay, I'll bring it for AN. So she brought it for AN. I put those on. You can see that on my Instagram photo. Um, I have unfortunate news. After DCS, I lost one of them. I, I managed to save one. I held on to one, but the other one, like, I guess it was like while I was, like you. What do you mean, like you? Oh, cool. I love the way both lost one. Was it your left or your right? Because I lost my right one. Yeah, you're so cute. Thank you. Also in Montreal. Oh, that's right. You told me. Oh my gosh, was it your left or your right? Um. Oh my gosh, what was I saying? You appreciate it. Yes, I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm glad it worked out for you too. We just like didn't even have like we weren't like overly having deep converse or anything like that. We were just like enjoying each other's company, mostly in silence, and just being like, let's reset ourselves. Let's just reset ourselves. So I'm glad it worked out. Also, I think Pi also had to use the washroom as well, so it worked out for him too. OMG, it was fate. It was fate. 運命だったよ. But yeah, I almost lost my left earring, and then I almost lost my right earring. I almost lost my left earring again. This was all backstage on Sunday, and then finally after DCS ended, while I was catching up with people in Idol, I lost the right one. I also lost one of my gloves. Where was I? Right. After we like cooled off and whatnot, finally headed. I think it's because she was also like the morning was not kind to her already as it is. So she's like, I think I'm about to hit my limit, so I can't stay for too long. I was like, that's fine, cause I'll be really honest. I think I had also hit my limit around that point too. But since I had already promised to see Lori, I went down. Thankfully, they had relocated the picnic as a closed gathering within the Delta. So all I had to do was pop out of the elevator, and boom, there they were. So I got to say hi. We caught up a little bit. Also caught up with a few others that were there. Got the one vegetarian onigiri thrown at me. I don't know why y'all didn't eat it. It tasted good. It was the mushroom one. It tasted great. I also then gave the scones that I found out I'm allergic to. I gave them to Lori to be like, you either share that with people or take it for yourself. Yeah, mushroom. Yeah. Um. Yeah, I think what they said is like, I think this is like I'll offer it, but I'm probably gonna have this for breakfast the next day. I was like, okay, cool. But they were also just like, yeah, the weather. I could tell that they still got hit by the rain because their makeup has smudged a little bit. I was like, oh no, a mushroom. Um, they also mentioned it's just like apparently they saw somebody dressed up as an alligator step out for a little bit and then instantly come back into the building because it was too wet. And then somebody had said like, "Oh my gosh, that's so in character." So yeah. Also, I'm realizing I'm peaking a little bit, so let's bring the audio down a little bit there. Yeah, it's crocodile from One Piece. That's what it was. I didn't understand. I'm still catching up on One Piece. I haven't. I've only gone halfway through the first arc. I wanted to finish my debut first before I continue. His weakness is because that the wind wasn't clean, y'all. There was. I mean, there's no weakness. Shh, no spoilers. No spoilers. But yeah, no, like somebody like they had mentioned just like, oh, someone saw like crocodile cosplay and like run out and then run back in. And it was like, oh my god, that's so in character. So that was funny. I thought they were dressed up like as an actual crocodile animal, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I guess when it does rain, they would like run back into the water. Because they don't like getting hit. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. No, it wasn't. It was a One Piece character the whole time. He was awesome. Okay, duly noted. So yeah, that was a little fun little thing I learned. Yeah, everything else that we caught up on was kind of personal. So like, I'll leave it at that. Um, oh yeah, I can announce it now because it has basically been confirmed, but the announcement still won't come out for a while. I'll my the slot that I had for JFCA or Japan Festival Canada last year is being honored this year. So I will be performing again at Japan Festival Canada. And because it's a solo show this time, not with AN Live, um I asked Lori to style me again. So yeah, I'm gonna work with them again. And I said like this time I will actually give you references because I did not give them references last year, and yeah, I felt bad. So they're just like, yeah, just like send the references and then we can figure something out. That's freaking cool. Thank you. So yeah, that's in August, but I have at least one more show next month before that happens. So yeah. If anyone's going to CSC, I'll be one of the performers at the showcase there as well. But that's gonna be announced later properly. What else? Right. After we parted ways, like I think what happened was do you remember if we went back up to my room together for a little bit before you guys headed? You guys headed back. Yes. Okay. Never mind. I remember. I remember now. Um, I said like we're gonna go because like I could tell Pi and she started drifting further and further away from me. And I was like, oh no, it's because of the traffic jam and whatnot. Apparently it was okay because they managed to catch up with other folks while they were waiting for me. There was also I think he was cosplaying as I think it was the Charmander Kigurumi. I can't remember, but like he carried around like a big whiteboard on a stick that said like, "Who's your favorite evolution?" And then you could pick either any of them or just Eevee. And instantly I was just like, "Oh, pie!" I tapped her just like, "What? Pick!" Because I know he likes Espeon, and so as he was reading, he's like, "Oh yeah, Espeon, obviously." But that also that allowed like everyone else to be like, oh, I wanna vote too. So like that was a little thing we did together. Filled up real quick, and then as like a little, just being nice, but also trying to share as much of the food as possible because otherwise it's a surplus. It's like, would you like to take a snack or two? And they're like, oh, thank you. So and then that was good. I said bye after I realized like, oh, okay, I've hit my limit. I was like, I think I'm gonna head off for sightseeing again. I said bye to as many people as possible. There are some folks that I tried to grab the attention of, but I couldn't tell if they either didn't recognize me or they didn't see me because they were like deep in the conversation. Um, but I was like bye, and then we headed back up to my hotel, the staff hotel room. Around the time like Milia and the others also came back, so she and Pi got to meet them a little bit. Oh right, this was after you guys left, but Millie was just like, "Oh, your friends are so cute." um, so that was nice. And then after that, I think I genuinely all I did was take off my wig. It had still been long but tied up at the time. I was like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna cut it." Even though I was gonna wait until chapter 3 to do it, I just cut the wig. And then after I cut the wig, cleaned up my makeup, couldn't even have the energy to shower. I just passed out. And then I spent most of Saturday recovering and resting. Y'all earlier were saying just like, oh, I just spent all of yesterday napping or just a slimp. Yeah, I spent most of Saturday a slimp. Um, and traditionally, in Saturday evening of the convention, it lines up with of like the group of people, the friend group that Milia is a part of, like they who also help us as volunteer staff on a rotation basis. They are all friends with this one person whose birthday is usually the weekend of Anime North. So what they'll do is they'll go on the Saturday evening and they'll hang out there, which means I had the hotel all to myself. So after waking up, realizing almost everybody had gone down. Anira left a little later because she usually goes to the swap meets to sell because she does J fashion, mostly Lolita coordinates. So she's just like, I'm gonna try and get rid of all of this, including the tights, especially the tights. So she oh, I remember now. That's what happened. Friday, a little bit back on Friday, like when Anira was first arriving, she just mentioned it's like, yeah, I still have more, but like I just brought my entire closet with me. We're just like, what do you mean? Like, just you packed your entire closet in your suitcase? She's like, no, I jerry rigged my closet and stuffed it in my car and drove it all the way to Anime North, and we're just like, what? So she went back down once the rain calmed down a little bit, because unfortunately the parking is all street level. You have to go outside to get it. She came back. You know those IKEA closets, like the ones that are collapsible and you just put like a tarp kind of covering with a zipper on it over it? Like that's the one that I have in my personal home for personal use. Apparently she has that just for like some of her Lolita coordinates. She had put she basically put like she built a cardboard box base around the bottom of it, put that on top of like a cart, you know, like the foldable carts, put it on top of that and literally carried the whole thing over. Because it was raining, she put a bunch of garbage bags on the top so that it doesn't get the clothes wet. Because a lot of Lolita dresses you have to either dry clean or hand wash because the dyes from the fabric are very sensitive. So just also like you wouldn't want to sell wet clothes in general. So like she spent extra time doing that too. But like when she brought it in, we're just like, one, that's insane. Two, if we take it off the cart, it might actually fit into the hotel's closet. So she won't even need to take up extra space by the bed. And so it was just this extra, like, Milia is like pulling on the cart and Anira is like pushing it into the closet and it fit perfectly. But then I asked him just like, I feel like, how did that fit into the back of your car? And she's like, it barely fit. It barely fit it as it is. It just like squished the entire thing. I'm just like, I don't think you would have been able to use the rear view mirror. So I can imagine she's just like looking off to the side of like her driver rear view window instead of like using the one up here. So yeah, very true. Oh yeah, I should mention like Anira's job is to be an engineer, so yeah, her brain can figure this stuff out real well. Anyway, that was a funny thing that happened. That was another funny thing that happened too, but that involved inside jokes, so it's hard to describe that. Back to Saturday, I woke up just as Anaya was coming back from the swap meet, and by then, like what was originally like full, I think it was only about a sixth of its original size. So it was managed. She was able to like collapse it down to something flat at least. I was like, oh, you sold a lot. She's like, I sold some things, a lot of small things though. So like, there's still like dresses that are left in there. But hey, at least all the free tights were taken, so that's good. So there was that. And then after she basically like figured herself out, went back out to basically catch up with the rest of the group at the mutual's place. And then I had the hotel to myself. Or the room. I had the hotel room to myself. I had it to myself. And so I basically turned on I turned on Korean Variety because no one else needs to understand what's being said other than me. I was the only Korean in that room anyway. Um and I played HSR. So this was my first point of like, oh, I learned something. I'm learning to pace myself. I'm learning to actually rest. Traditionally in the past, Saturdays were spent for me like rewriting all the MC notes. So for context, up until I think last year, all of the MC notes I did myself. All of the intros I did myself. We never asked for anything from any of the dancers. I was able to do it because I knew most of the dancers, so I knew how to introduce them well, or I at least knew the songs. At some point, we had a huge shift in generation. So the Project Sekai dancers that I know now, they just started joining DCS around the time we came back after the lockdowns. Um, because of that, at the time I didn't know anyone, so I'm just like, oh, okay, I know like maybe 25% of these people. I don't know how to introduce them. So after that year, I said, hey, could you have the dancers include like some form of intro or bio with their applications? And so she's like, yeah. Millie was like, yeah, we can do that. And Nicole also said yes to it. I was like, I see no issue with that. Hey, it would make it easier for me too, so that I know like if, when you need to go to the washroom or something, I can take over, and like I'll know what to say. So that worked out. So we've been doing that since last year. Last year as well, even when we had the intros, there were still quite a few that I had to rewrite, because either they were brand new and they've never had to introduce themselves as performers before, or it were too long. The intros were too long. I'm so thankful this year that the majority of people, I guess because they either had experiences with other shows or they were coming back to DCS, so they were familiar with my MC style, that they knew how to write it themselves. So I didn't really have to do anything. For I'd say more than half of the entries, there were still a handful that I still had to rewrite last minute. And we're actively rewriting backstage. But for the first time this year, I allowed myself not to work on them on Saturday. I said, you know what? The rest of the team is spending this time just to hang out and chill. I'm gonna do that for myself too. So I played HSR with the hotel Wi-Fi because I realized, oh, my data is actually worse than the Wi-Fi here. That's great because we're out in the boonies. We're near the airport. Barely anyone lives out there. So yeah, that's what I did. I built Welt. Welt is finally strong enough that I can bring him into at least pure fiction, and he'll be able to make a dent. Take that. Welt mains win. Anyway, so yeah, I did that. I also like caught up on some stuff in HSR, and then I finally had enough energy and enough food because I took that time to basically finish the entire tuna salad that was left. Because I realized like, oh, after today, no one's gonna eat this food because that was our last night there. Yeah, we're of the staff. I think everyone except for Nickel, because Nickel's coming in from the States. The rest of us who are locals, we only stay there until Sunday morning. And then as we're leaving to go to DCS setup, we'll also check out of the hotel. So for that evening, I'm just gonna eat all of the food that I'm allowed to eat, or that was bought specifically for me to eat, and pack, which is also something that I used to put off until the last possible second. But this year I was like, yeah, I have the energy and the capacity to clean and pack. Okay, I'll clean and pack. Because usually I would have spent that time being like taking a long bath or like working on the MC notes and still running out of time or like working on something else. But this time, no, I'm just like, I have so much time and energy. I'm well rested. I'm pacing myself. I'm well fed. I got this. So by the time the others came back, they're just like, oh yeah, it's mostly been cleaned up. Thanks. So all they had to do was just pack their own stuff, and my stuff was already mostly packed. Um, yeah, and that evening was pretty chill. There was there was a debate over like, Cloudy Boy, why the hell are you watching this kind of a thing? Because his tastes are very opposite of the rest of the room. But one of the videos he was watching was like explaining how a dehumidifier is different from an AC and going into all the technical details, but not with the greatest sense of humor. It was actually very, I didn't enjoy it from an entertainer's perspective or a content creator's perspective, but for poor Anira, Anira was getting jilted by it because it's related to her job. She's like, I'm on vacation. Why are you making me watch something or listen to something that is related to my work? I don't want to. I don't want to watch this. So that was a little bit of chaos that happened. I guess now is a good point to also bring up. Part of the reason why DCS was so hard for me to leave is because I learned what a functional family dynamic is supposed to look like with that group. Like, yeah, sometimes you're gonna have heads butting. You're gonna be like, I don't want to watch this. Why are we watching this? Or like, why are you being so stupid? And you're not really stupid. It's just like, why are you doing something stupid? Or it's like, did you really have to do that? Like, you have those dynamics, but also there's an overarching respect, overarching love for each other that we've just known each other for so long, and they've known each other for even longer, that like we're able to say these things and know that there's no hard feelings. But I wasn't able to understand that until this year, or maybe last year a little bit, but this year especially. And Emilio was the one that had to really talk me through being like, You know, like Cloudy Boy is the kind of guy where like even if you just tell him, "Hey, I don't want this," he's gonna be like, "Oh, okay." Literally, and yeah, that did happen in the car. Like we had a thing where just like, "Hey, like I'm trying to be vulnerable here, but you're not giving a very conducive response." And I'm just like, with all due respect, I'm just not gonna talk about this stuff with you anymore. He's like, "Yeah, that's fine." That's fine. That's okay. We can talk about other stuff instead, like programming or tech stuff, and we'll have debates in other ways. So like that's fine. We still continue. We're still friends. We're still talking about. We're still shooting the air and stuff whatnot. Um, but yeah, that's also something that I recognize. Like, oh, this is why I feel safe here. This is why I've been clinging on to this, even though I know I should be somewhere else. It's because this was my original found family before what the group now colloquially calls ourselves Snack Cupboard. Snack Cupboard is like within Snack Cupboard. I feel like I'm the eldest, but when I'm with the other group, I'm not gonna say what they're. I won't do them dirty and say their group. They do have a group name, but like oh, that's for them to know. Um, Within that group, I'm the youngest. It feels like I'm the youngest. I'm the magne. I'm the one that's that's kind of being taken care of and doted on. So there was a bit of that dynamic. I realized like, oh, I kind of missed that. I missed being the one being taken care of. I I regret not having let them take care of me more before I got disabled. Because I think I would have been able to heal a lot faster if I had let them. But hey, like it's not like I'm not seeing them again. It's just like it's a lot harder to spend time with them now because I can't guarantee that one time, that one weekend a year that we do stuff. Gotta have both. Yeah, gotta have both. It's just that the one I talk to a lot more often than the other. Because like the thing about that other group, like the group where I feel like I'm the youngest, and a lot of them work 9 to 5s. A lot of them are going back to school. They do like very non-entertainment stuff or non-art side stuff, and so one, it's hard to schedule things with them, and two, like just our perspectives on life at this point are so different that um I still love them and I still feel safe with them, but I have noticed like, oh, yeah, I feel like the youngest. I think that's the most accurate way to say it. Like, I feel like the youngest, and there's a family of 10. So yeah, I'm just like, cool. I'm just here. Yeah. Oh, Thank you for caring about like making sure I'm well fed and whatnot. But like conversation wise, it just feels like I'm in a different world, and that's okay too. And I really appreciate that they still make the time and effort to listen to me talk about my side of things and be like, okay, I know a little bit enough from experience in cosplay and whatnot to understand what you're talking about, or maybe like, oh, I thought like the generation is like this, and I'm like, well, no, actually, a lot of the generations they're acting like this because our generation, aka their parents, messed up real bad. Um, so like, there's a lot of like it's a healthy discussion of both sides. It's like they're coming from like the normie adult world or quote unquote adult world, corporate side of things, and I'm coming from like, hey, like I'm actually spending a lot of time with these kids, and this is probably what they're going through, kind of a thing. Um, and I think like that dynamic started showing more starting from I think last year, especially, or the year before at least. Um, just because I had more opportunities throughout the year to get to know them, um, which is why they're so yeah. Like I'll get to that part when I talk about Sunday. Oh, actually, yeah, we'll get into Sunday now, and then this will get brought up, and then we can revisit this when we hit that point. Um, oopsie, let's see, I went out of the thing. Sunday morning. One, I was the last to fall asleep as usual. I was also the first to wake up, as usual. I got up at 6 a.m. before any of the alarms went off. The alarm was supposed to go off at 7. I got up. And I do my best to be really, really quiet, but the food I was trying to pack up in 1 hour was so crinkly. And so like Anira's the lightest sleeper of all of us, and she's just like, oh dear, you're so noisy. I was like, I'm sorry. So like I quietly went into the washroom. Oh no, I think I was at first just like, are you awake? Like, why are you awake at this hour? I'm just like, I couldn't sleep. I just got up. But then after that, she's like, you're so noisy. I was like, I'm sorry. It's like I decided I was like, okay, the quietest thing I can do is like put my makeup and hair on. So like I brought myself into the washroom. I did my makeup. I spent extra time on it so that I don't have to wake anyone up more. I put the wig on, made sure everything was on good, and then around the time I think is when Milia woke up too. She's like, "Oh, okay, you're done with the wash. I'm gonna go in," kind of a thing. At that point, I think we were slowly waking up. Millie and I made a run. We split ways. I was like, I will get like. She's like, you get Starbucks. I'll go get stuff from the staff room. So she went to the staff room to get stuff. Found some things, but hey, not a whole lot left. I went to Starbucks, put in the order for everyone. By everyone, I mostly mean me and Anira. And then we headed back up, finished packing things up, checked out, um, and tried to make as few trips to the car as possible because the weather was still kind of gross. Not as gross as the day before, but it was equally gross. Right, I forgot to mention this for Saturday. Well, one of the groups, one of the routines, who had signed up for, who had RSVP'd for the routine due to accessibility reasons, they couldn't make it. I mentioned so they didn't know that you could get those disability badges from the convention, and so they hadn't gotten one, which means they didn't know how to get to the they didn't know how to get to the venue or our specific location in the venue safely. They also weren't sure what backstage was gonna look like. Also, we found out through the main AV guy who's brought in from Showtech to help out. Who's he and I forged some. We clicked because he also uses a mobility device to get around for chronic pain reasons. And I also use the wheelchair, and we're just like, hey. Also, we are both very serious about our jobs, and so he's like, I know if it's you, I can trust you. I was like, he's just like, if it's Altair, I can trust. I was like, yeah, if it's Taz, I can trust. So yeah, Taz was there again this year. Um, Things had to be a lot tighter, so we'll get back to that in a bit because that was a Sunday thing. But for Saturday, I was like talking to Taz, and he's like, I need you guys to know two things. One, they decided to remove the chairs from backstage. Usually, there's a row or two of stairs, um, of chairs that people can just sit at while they're on standby backstage, especially for events like AN Idol, where all of the contestants are waiting in the wings until it's their turn. Unlike DCS, we have a rotation instead between the green room and backstage. Um, so that had to be figured out. So we had to help him put those back in. Second thing he told us is that so they messed. His exact wording was they fucked up the ramp. So AN Anime North is one of the few events where the main stage has a ramp backstage. So you can take a ramp up to the stage instead of taking the stairs. And that has been the same way it has been AODA, ADA compliant for years, except for this year, because they sent in a new crew with new equipment to set things up, and these bastards didn't understand what ADA or AODA standards were. So it was too steep. For me, for anyone using a wheelchair, even mobility devices have struggled with it because it's just if you try and put something I think the initial ramp the initial angle for the ramp when you're just getting on it was 45 degrees. That's too steep. It's way too steep. Someone's gonna fall backwards if you do that. The maximum, I believe, by ADA, I had to double check, but for AODA standards, it's at least 20 degrees. Like maximum 20 degrees. Ideally, you want it flatter, but if you absolutely must, 20 degrees is the ideal. That's because for manual wheelchair users like myself, if it's anything steeper than that, one, it takes more effort, and two, there's more risk of falling. And I have fallen multiple times when there were ramps that were too steep. Um, people just think that as soon as you put some kind of straight diagonal, everyone can make it, but no. Anyway, sorry, that was my little vent. So that's what happened. So Millie and I had to spend extra time at the end of our sound check before the 404s had theirs to video record what it's like to be a wheelchair user going through from each checkpoint to the backstage and how to get down it safely. Thankfully, they didn't need to because turns out the next day they were an ambulatory user, so it's like I think today is okay where I won't need it as much. So I think I'm okay. So they thankfully didn't have to worry too much about it. Um but yeah, that was something that both Taz and I were just like, that's not okay. Like that is going against the ADA, that's going against the AODA. So bro, genuinely, even if you don't know the guidelines off the dome, how do you look at a 45-degree angle and think, yeah, that's doable? Like, bro, yeah, like it's just like they don't think about it from sitting in a wheelchair position. Think about it as like I'm standing and I'm walking on it, and by walking on it, I'm not struggling, so that's good enough. I'm just like, you want to try borrowing my chair and see how you do? Can't wait to see you tumble backwards. So yeah, Milia had to be the one that took me on and off the ramp, and Taz just decided to walk because he's an ambulatory user as well. He's just like, I'd rather just walk this because it's too dangerous otherwise. But yeah, he was pretty upset by it. I was upset by it. Especially because I know at least half of the Project Sekai dancers community are like they have mobility issues, either by walkers or by ambulatory wheelchairs. So that bothered me. Uh, anyway, that's something that had happened. That's also another reason why I was late to the picnic. Later. Sunday rolls around. Oh boy. This is when I learned that my brain was smoother than previous years. When I say smoother, I mean physically smoother. I'd mentioned earlier in the stream that anorexia affects brain development, including degeneration of the brain cells. I really felt it Sunday morning because energetically I was back to my old self, like what I used to be before the anorexia really took everything. Um, Physiologically is a different story. There was a moment where I was working on the notes, and I remembered to take my Vyvanse, so I knew like I was good. I took my meds and everything. Um, but it still felt like I wasn't 100% there. So while I'm taking the notes, Milia's just like, just so you know, it's 10:20. I was like, oh, okay, 10:20. For some reason, it didn't click in my mind that 10:20 was the call time. I'm just like, I should have been done with my notes and heading out at that point, but for some reason, I continued with my notes. During that time, Milia was running to the front of the check-in areas to check in with to like make sure everything was okay at the front. And by the time she came back, it was 10:32, and she's like, Altair, it's 10:32. And I was like, uh, okay, what do you need me to do? It's like, it's 10:32. It's either we go now or never. And I'm just like, oh, oh my gosh. And even now, I'm trying to recall, like, I'm trying to recall what it was like back then. Like, I still am feeling it now. We're just like, oh, what should I have done? Like, what was I supposed to do? At that point, once I acknowledged verbally, and this is, oh, sorry, give me a second. Hello, webcam, please. Can you lock back in? Hold on. Hold that thought. Hold. Hold. There we go. No. No. Yeah, I know y'all can see it. That's fine. Well, that's not working. So, let me just... 1 second. I might as well not have VTube Studio running then. Okay, hold on. Let me just dragon, an image, PNG. Gosh, even when I try not to be scuffed, don't say it! Wait. Wait. Okay, I'll be blinking. I'll just be perpetually blinking. That's okay. Hi. Hello. I'm also gonna turn. Oh, where did I leave the background? I don't know what I want. We're perpetually Taskaru. And me trying to be cute and I'm just like, hi, wink. Hi, wink. Here, we'll do this. Nope, bring it down. Here, we're gonna turn this off. I'm gonna close VTube Studio to save resources. There we go. Yeah, okay, we're stuck here. Anyway, I can't even do Discord because I'm afraid my computer is gonna give out. Anyway, yeah, my Mac is so hot right now. Not in a sexy way. Where was I? Right. So at that moment of dissociation, and I said verbally, and this is a tip for anyone who's also feeling that dissociation and need to like reground themselves. I said out loud verbally, I was like, I am experiencing dissociation right now. Okay, give me a second. And then as soon as I said I'm experiencing right now, I'm experiencing it too. As soon as I said that out loud, my brain locked the fuck back in and was like, okay, I'm just going on autopilot. Let's see how much my muscle remembers. I sped out. I don't even remember what happened because it was all a blur. But like, I sped out. I'm just like, I don't know. I remember what happened. First thing I said before I sped out, I said to Millie, I was like, okay, what we're gonna do? We're gonna prioritize the large groups only, and that's all we're gonna do. Because actually no, I'm gonna go out first. As soon as I rolled out, I got stopped by Taz, and Taz is like, "When are you guys doing sound check?" I'm just like, "We're gonna head over now," and he's like, looking at the clock, it's like, "If you do it now, every group only gets 4 seconds." And I was like, "Okay," and then that's the autopilot. Round 2 kicks in. It's just like we're only gonna prioritize the larger groups, which is 6 members or plus. I think in total we had 6 groups who were like that. A lot of them were Love Life groups. So like the biggest groups were like 9 members or something like that. So I'm just like, okay, we'll do that. And I don't even remember what happened afterwards. I just remember speeding over, and then I said as loud as I could, and I was using my chest voice. I hadn't used my chest voice in a very long time. Did you say 6 group or was it no? Yes. 6 groups of members that were 6 plus members. So the smallest of those groups were 6 members. The largest was I think 9 members. So I was like, anybody who has groups of, and I was listing out their names. I was like, if I call your name, as I unfortunately we were lost track of time. I'm so sorry. I trust most of you. Chisaku, what the frick? I just saw the 7 part. I thought it was a question mark. It's not fair. Why doesn't YouTube? No, I will ban it. If y'all use it, I will ban it. If it wasn't for the fact that Trains pointed it out, only because I know he's had no. I'm not ready, not show. Only because this has been like a thing in our group server for a while now that if it wasn't for Trains pointing it out, I would not have caught it. Because I thought from my eyes, the 7 looked like a question mark, and I'm just like, was it question mark? I was like, oh yeah, I meant to say like 6. I thought you meant 6 or like 6 members. Is that what you meant? I thought that's what you meant. I didn't see the 7. That wasn't fair. I don't appreciate that. Y'all can't even see how tilted I am because the webcam is off. My head would be swinging so hard right now. Now, anyway, oh, that threw me off. That threw me off. Where was I? If y'all gonna cause me this much pain, y'all better clip it at least. Make it useful. Ugh. Right. So I sped out. I was like, anybody? I'm so sorry. We're short on time. I lost track of time. I'm so sorry. We're gonna prioritize large groups instead. So if I call your name, run over to the stage. Get ready to sound check. I called out the names. I'm so tilted right now. That's not fair. I don't have the webcam on. Can I clip you? Yes, you should be able to. Is it for sponsors only? There should be a plus clip button. If not, then well, I guess people won't know. Yeah, my apologies. If you can't, then it is what it is. Thankfully, for me at least, majority of the under 6 members. Oh, can't wait for the fun. Thanks, Jessica. Anybody who was who didn't have their names called either were there on Saturday or had been there the year before or a few years prior, so they were familiar with the stage. I didn't need to worry about them. And so I remember, because for those of you who don't know, like when I last performed at JFCA, I worked with the group that is now known as Wonder Sekai and Reset. And one of the Reset members, I think it was S, who came up first, just wanted to confirm what we heard. It's like, we're good. I'm just like, you only the large groups. You two don't need to worry about it. I trust you two. You've been here before. They're like, okay, good. And behind, I hadn't realized Aaron hadn't even put his makeup on yet. And I'm just like, oh, you guys need the time anyway. Okay, cool. That's great. Thanks. Yeah, you two are good. You're good. He's just like nodding. He's like, perfect. I need to get ready. And I also realized at that point, I was like, wait, S is also bald. I was like, okay, you two go and just get ready. You two are fine. So yeah, there's that. That was funny. And I for some reason couldn't find Wonder Sekai members around. Anyway, I was like, that's funny. They're usually early or on time. Where are they? And I realized they came in literally in the last possible minute for some reason. Except for Chu. Chu was there early, but everyone else was late, which is very abnormal. They're usually on time. So anyway, we run the show. I continue to have issues with my smooth brain. For the most part, I'm just like, okay, MC notes are fine, whatever. I decided just to keep things simple and to keep us on track because thanks to the adjustment in the sound check, we were finished early. We finished on time, and Taz was like, excellent. Okay, we're opening the doors, and then they let people in, and we were able to start on time. The MC notes that I'd prepared on Friday and also earlier that morning and for a little bit during Saturday, I was able to I had no issues with them. However, sometimes what happens is that we have to change the order, and so usually it would make sense why I make a mistake like this, except this was the time when the order was not changed. I was just stupid and decided to turn the page early, and so I got mixed. I'm just like, you're soloist? I'm pretty sure the next performance is a group, though. And I was about to announce, as I was announcing the group, both Milia and the group members themselves were like, no, backstage. And I'm just like, what? Excuse me? give me 1 second, and I checked the list. It was like, hi, I made a mistake. So you're gonna see this in the performance footage once Nicole is done editing it and uploading it to YouTube. But there's a moment where I'm just like, my apologies, I made a mistake, and I had to correct myself and introduce the next person properly. I felt so bad because they're a newcomer. I think was she? Yes, she was a newcomer, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I was also really sorry to the group as well. But that was her first performance ever, and she did wonderfully. I think she did Villain, the Nijugoji version by Tenny Woha. Had the right snap, had the right attitude. I loved it. It was a good performance. And then it was the group afterwards. And then after that, I think it was fine. I think it was fine. I don't remember having huge issues other than stumbling on my words a little bit near the end because I think I was starting to reach my mental limit. Because again, smoother brain have to make them a little more. I have to train it to be more wrinkly. So I made a note to myself. I was like, when I get back, I'm gonna reprioritize from muscle production to brain health, which means my dietary guidelines have to change. So I made a note for that. The show is at its end. Originally, I wasn't going to announce my my leaving of DCS outside of the Instagram post I made, but while we were setting up, I remembered, wait, hold on, I forgot. There are so many people that don't follow me on Instagram who have the right to know. And so I was like, Taz being one of them. Taz found out when I made that announcement. I'm sorry. But I said, Amelia asked me like near the end, it's like, I want to double check with you to make sure if you still want to make it public or not. And I was like, you know what? I think I have to. Just to show my respect and gratitude. And another reason why I'm glad I did end up announcing it, it gave me, oh, I'm getting emotional again. I might or might not cry. I got to tell not just the audience, but Nicole and Milia as well. I turned to them when I made the announcement. I was like, this is my 9th and final year emceeing and assistant coordinating for DCS. Finally debuting, and as soon as I said I'm finally debuting, the audience was just like, "Wow!" And I was like, "I didn't expect this kind of response. That's why I wasn't gonna. That's why I wasn't going to announce it. I thought no one would care." But so many more people than I expected ended up caring, and I said like, "Yes, I'm debuting." So, June 6th. Please look forward to it. And then I felt like I did end up saying it because I knew it was important to say this. Nicole was just like, "Oh, we can I can take over to if you need to recollect yourself." I was like, "No. You need to hear this." And I turned to Milia and Nicole specifically. And I said like, I would I would have given up the stage if it wasn't for DCS. Oh man, I still end up crying. Um, it was the one consistent stage I had every year. It was the only reason I was able to remember to keep coming back. It was the only reason why I had the strength to audition for Idol again. It was the only reason why I had the courage to then be like, hey, I'm gonna try for JFCA again, and to then learn from Kaida Senpai to be like, hey, we're giving you that spot because everyone agreed that you're fantastic. I wouldn't give it up on it if it wasn't for DCS. So I made sure to say that to them. Thank goodness I didn't cry this badly on stage. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm a professional. But yeah, this is really weird with the waking me. Uh, I was able to say that not just to not just to the audience and to the dancers, but to the organizers who kept believing in me. I told Milia so many times after each year, I'm just like, this is gonna be my last year, this is gonna be my last year, and I always said it as a way of resigning myself to it. I'm just like, I'll never be able to go back to the stage, I'll never be my old self again, I am stuck like this. Amelia was always the one who was just like, it's her way of saying, I don't believe you. But she was like, let's see how you think next year. She always said that. Let's see how you think next year. Let's see how you feel next year. We'll revisit it next year. Don't worry about it for now. It's just having just a home base to go back to when I felt like I wasn't gonna be able to return to the stage again. It meant a lot. I'm gonna keep crying even more after this because it just gets even more emotional. Fuck. Thanks, guys. Okay, but have you considered that you have a wide fan base of people who support you? Maybe as like a VTuber, I never expected it as an MC. I'm just like, I'm just the host of the event. I'm just doing my job. No one's really here for the MC. Everyone's here for the dancers. But I think yeah, that's happened on Saturday too, where like when when I was at the door, like turning people away, it's like, hey, this is a closed out. Check place. Come. One person saw me as like, you're the MC for the show, right? I was like, oh yes, I am, and they were like, I watch every morning, every year, every Sunday morning of AN. And I love what you do. I think you're great. I can't wait to watch it this year too. Um, and I was like, oh, I was like, oh, thank you, I really appreciate that. But I was like, oh, that's interesting. But then when I heard the cheers, when I said it was my debut, that's when I realized, like, oh, I guess I did my job well. I did well. I can be proud of this. This is a good ending. So, we said our goodbyes to the audience. We went off stage. Taz was the first. Taz had apparently rushed over. Not just rushed over. He was like, "Altair, I am sad, but also happy. I'm happy for you, and I will see you again as a performer." That's basically what he meant. He basically says like, "You better come back as a performer." Um, Kaida Senpai also came up in the green room after us because An Idols shortly after us. He came from behind just to like put his hands. He has a very strong, firm hand on my shoulders. As a hello friend, as a hello friend. Um, and I'll get to that later. But like, actually, I'll say it now because the next part is gonna be a little lengthy. But he was like, "I didn't see you at the auditions this year." I was like, "I told you last year that this is gonna be last. That was gonna be my last year auditioning." He's like, "Yeah, but I never believe anyone when they say that." But he said it like as he opened up a fan and was fanning himself. I'm just like, that is so sassy. So yeah, I might or might not be going back on my word about that being my last idol or whatnot, because Suna, who's also like very active in the community, she made it to the finals, and I'm just like, oh, I, I didn't think you needed to, but you know, I want to watch you perform kind of a thing. So I did end up going to do that. But before that, very importantly, you'll see on the thumbnail of this live stream there's a very glittery card, or like a card that's written with very glittery ink, that says "Thank you, Altair." I'm gonna cry again. I hope I don't cry again. I already cried in front of them. The reason why Wonder Sekai members, or most of the Wonder Sekai members, were late. Oh, thank you. What's got it with the essay? You're back. Thank you. Thank you for head pats too. Um, the reason why those members were missing and coming in the last possible second was because they had been secretly gathering signatures and messages from dancers, both past and present, at DCS. Um, and also from my fellow team members, including Milia and Nicole, and like I I'm literally going through. I was like, why are some of these names familiar but not from the dance? These are definitely not dancer names. And then I got to the back of the page and I realized like, oh my gosh, these are, because I call the team members by their real names because we've known each other since long before any of us like debuted or whatnot or used our handles. So like it didn't click. Again, another smooth brain moment. Didn't click that those were like messages from my teammates. I was like, when did you guys do this? And then Vince from Wonder Sekai, like unfortunately his routine didn't make the wait list, but like he he was allowed in backstage basically just to be able to help deliver the card. And then all of the Project Sekai dancers who knew me, they all gathered around me as Natty was the one that presented the card. And I bawled my eyes out, and at that point I'd already been holding it in from the stage. But as soon as they show me that card, there's a reel of this on my Instagram as well. But like I just, without even warning, to my surprise as well, I burst out crying. I was like, oh no, why am I crying? Oh no, when did you guys do this? Oh, and then it clicked in my head. I was like, oh my gosh, that's why they were so late. That's why they were being so dodgy earlier. Because I noticed like all of the dancers were being a little bit dodgy around me for some reason. They're trying to be lighthearted as possible, but also like kind of being like, make sure he doesn't know that everybody distract him. don't let him say. So yeah, I open it up. It looks like it's one piece of paper, but no, it is two pieces of paper folded in half, because that's how many signatures they collect, and it continues all the way to the back. The back page specifically, I think, was most of my teammates, but there were some dancers there as well. But like, remember I said I have to move again in July. On the first page, very very small. I think it was Cloudy Boy who wrote this because the handwriting was terrible, and it made saying like "I'll see you again when you move." I'm just like, who said that? It must. And again, smooth brain moment is like, that must have been Milia. But then I looked to the back, and Milia's handwriting is there, being like, I almost forgot. Okay, I forgot what it is. Let me grab it. Hold on. Ugh. I have it right here. I'm keeping it protected from the humidity for now until I figure out where to put it. Where are you? Where are you? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Where's this? Oh, it slid out. Okay. There you go. So the one from Millie was like, I almost forgot, Lumao. I love you, but I also did nothing. Like, oh, I just realized why my webcam gave out. It's too dark. Smooth brain moments. Cool. It's gonna be another 6 months to a year of this while I recover. Y'all give me a second. Hey. I'm not gonna bother turning it back on. Um, just because it's too much effort. And also I'm almost done, I think. Also I don't want to turn the overhead lights on, and I haven't replaced the batteries for my main light yet. I got the card. I don't even know how many there are, how many signatures there are. Light, sofa light, yeah. Um, some of these people, I don't even know how they got. I don't know how or when they got the signatures, but one of the messages I'll read. The group that I had accidentally introduced to early was a group called Okashi, like Okashi as in strange and Okashi as in snacks. So strange snacks. It was a brand new group that debuted with us. and they wrote, "Hey Altair, this is only our first year here, but we're going to be missing you. Thank you so much for giving us such a memorable experience for our first time dancing at AN. Even though we were a bit stressed, that moment helped us even though we were a bit stressed, that moment helped us laugh and calm down before the stage. We hope your future endeavors are even sweeter than us." From Okashi Okashi, and they drew themselves in little chibis too. It was really cute. But yeah, they're because I guess it's because it was their debut stage. They were very nervous, but like when I made them, they're like, no, 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 it's not us, it's not us. So I'm glad it ended up helping them out. I'm hoping it helped out. Gosh, I don't want to get the name wrong. So let me just double check the name. My notes. Yes, I did bring my notes back with me. My MC notes that are a hot mess. Just want to make sure I got the name right. What page am I on? Okay, there we go. My Foggy Destiny. My Foggy Destiny, she made her debut with us as well. I think this might have been her first. Yeah, this was her first performance ever as well. So I'm hoping it was funny for her as well. I felt bad though. I'm just like, oh, that's strange. I'm pretty sure the next person's a group, and I was just like, oh no, I just skipped a line like an idiot. So yeah, My Foggy Destiny and Okashi, please support them. Please support them as well. But yeah, I was like, originally they wanted me to read the card like in front of them, but as soon as I went through the first 2 pages, I was like, I'm not reading this in front of y'all. I refuse to. I'm already being too much of a softy right now in front of y'all. And then I had, oh gosh, I'm trying to figure out who it was, but I know it's someone I know. But everyone looks different with cosplays. But like, there was one member who just charged over and said, "Oh dear, I have a present for you." And they started singing. I think it's like, "You're so beautiful." And then there's a section that's just like, "Only God knows I'm not Christian though, but because I'm Jewish." And they kept singing. It was so funny. But like, it was so funny and so sweet, and I really appreciated that too. I need to check my list to see who this one. Hold on. No, I'm gonna check. Actually, no. I just know it was from. I'm pretty sure they were the group that performed Parasol Cider. Let me check. And I know some of the members in that group. Nah. Remember when I said smooth brain moments? The one thing from Narcissist, I think from Narcissist Triandres. I can't tell which one. Because they're not using, some of these aren't their stage names. Oh yeah, I forgot some of these aren't their stage names. Some of these are their real names. I don't wanna mess that up. I will double check on another source later because I do have access to another source. I'm pretty sure I know who it is. I just need to double check. But like, yeah, that was funny. That was funny and really cute. I just know they were cosplaying as Irie, if I remember correctly. I thought it was really funny. I'm a Christian though, I'm Jewish. That was so funny. And yeah. I think at that point we had to kick everyone out, so we're just like, hey, all dismissed, get out of here, get out of here. I spoke to Natty for a little bit afterwards. I think because Natty has this tendency to be like, oh, the other group doesn't want me. I'm just like, go hang out with your friends. Don't stop hanging out with an old man like me. Go, your friends are waiting for you. And also, my group was waiting for me too. My friends were waiting for me too. They wanted to take a group selfie together before we wrap things up. And I was whisked away by idol peeps. Yumemi and I were both backstage just to be like, oh, we're just hanging out, we're chilling, we're here to support you. Vivi was the intermission performer this year because they won last year. And so like as they were passing, they're like, hi Auntie, hi, Vivi. That was cute. And I was really happy to see a lot of the finalists from last year come back. The ones that I competed with. which is why they were like, I think Kai was approaching me and was like, hey, where were you? And I was like, no, I was too busy, man. No. Also, I said I wasn't gonna come back. I literally said I wasn't gonna come back last year. Why are y'all expecting me to come back? I don't understand. So there was that, and yes, I'm no longer the only person performing singing in Toronto with a wheelchair. Thank you very much. There, Peter is also performing in a wheelchair as well, and he came back with an auto song. And there a good chunk of people came back with auto songs, and I was like, dang. But yeah, Yumemi and I were just like with the crew backstage for a little bit until it was their time to go head up, and then we decided like, you know what, no one's in the green room, and they have the projector set up. It's really quiet. We have better hearing, and otherwise we're just gonna have to like somehow find a spot for me to sit close enough to the stage, and that's gonna be a journey. So we're just like, let's just watch from the green room. So like we're just we chatted and also watched the performances backstage, caught up with each other there, and helped with Yumemi's back. There was like a knot in her back that I was just like, okay, we can get that out of there. She's like, can I at least push you backstage when it was time for deliberations and the announcement? She's like, can I at least push you to the backstage areas? Thanks for like helping fix my back a little. I'm just like, okay, yeah, I'm okay with that. So yeah, I think while we were watching, because we've both been like, obviously you maybe more so than me, but we've both been judges slash coordinators for these kind of events enough that we also had our own like what we would say about each performance. You made me, however, I was a little bit, so we have a different approach for people that we're familiar with. I take the extra critical approach because I'm just like, I know you can do better kind of a thing, or like I know you can grow even more from here. For one of them, I was just for one of them though, we both of us were just like, wow, he shot himself in the foot again this year because he was busy screaming because he works the public attendee services. He was hollering at the lines to like, you know, not block the way, to keep moving and whatnot. I'm just like, you couldn't spare to pace yourself the night before again, eh? Even though you knew you made it to finals. Chen, we love you. But like we were just like, we know he could do better, but he shot himself in the foot again. So there was that. He also chose a Mrs. Green Apple song. He chose "Darling" by Mrs. Green Apple. We're just like, please be kind to yourself. So there's that. Peter and Kai, when they came back, were a lot more at ease this time than previous years. I believe Anika was the one that won with a Chanmina song. And I'm just like, I'm just like, you're singing Chanmina, but she misinterpreted that as just like, you didn't believe in me. I was like, it's not that I didn't believe in you, it's that I was shook. She's like, oh, yeah, me too. I was shook too. I was like, but you're the one who chose the song. I was like, yeah, but I didn't expect to win. So that means she has to perform again at the closing ceremonies. And as she was about to put the, because they get a bouquet if they win. She was about to put the bouquet away. She's like, I don't wanna. I'm not ready. I don't wanna. We're like, but you have to. It's just like, it's like, actually, you need to do it again for Enemy North Ultimate Idol 2 next year as well. And that means she's also going up against Otako and Vivi as well, and Yumemi gets to be the judge because she won the previous iteration. And so she's like, I don't want to. That was really cute. So there was that. But like that was really funny. Vivi got to perform, but I remember talking to Vivi afterwards. I was like, you didn't go off as much as you usually do. And they're like, yeah, because I didn't trust myself. And I was like, I could tell. I'm just like, that your energy is your signature. And there's like, I was afraid I wouldn't hit those high notes. They sang Aogu Snagu, I think that's how that's the Japanese name for it. It was one of the Toya songs, and it's so hard. It is a difficult song. It's time for this also to retire for the night. Okay, Otsukuri, thank you for hanging out. Stream will also be wrapping up. It be 15 more minutes, so yeah, go get some rest. Have a brave night. Rest well. Um. So yeah. Uh. It was such a short window with everyone I was catching up with. Um. But and still didn't get managed. I still couldn't manage to catch up with everyone quite as much as I wanted to because we all had to skedaddle. It had to get ready for closing ceremonies, and some people wanted to see some people wanted to visit the vendors hall one more time because they didn't have a chance to on Saturday because it was raining really hard. So they had to do that, and I just had like an hour to myself before the wheel trans arrived because I told that was the other thing too. That was the other point of development for me. This was the first year I did not have to rely on Milia for a ride home, or at least a ride to the nearest up the express stop. Um, because one, I have wheel trans this time. Second of all, I I didn't want to. I did In the past. I went back with Milia because I was scared of being left alone. And then there was another year where I went back with now, but obviously not doing that anymore. And there's one thing I felt bad about that year too. I didn't learn until months later, but like now I had wanted to see Anime North finals that year, but they didn't know whether. Well, this is partly their fault too, I guess, because they could have just left me alone. But instead they're just like, no, I have to make sure you're okay. I have to do it. Like I have to be with you, kind of a thing. And so like it wasn't until later I told them it's like, no, it's. I think it was like in August for Otakuthon. I was like, you don't need to abandon your plans for me. You can do what you want. Um, just go to Otakuthon by yourself. Use that extra seat that I can't get a refund for your bags. And I'm sorry. I managed to help them get a refund for everything else though. But that was the first time where I really ended the convention by myself on my own. And guess what? It wasn't that bad. Or maybe it wasn't so bad because I'm in a much better headspace now than I used to be. But I felt better now. Um, but it also made me realize a few things. Um, One, there was a possibility that I could have gone into the artist alley or vendors hall along with Otaku and Yumemi. I think they both wanted to just check it out before leaving. But the wheelchair makes that difficult. So I just wouldn't have been able to survive in it. So it would have been harder on them. So I don't regret not having gone with them. I think it was most appropriate. And then everyone else kind of had to depart their ways. They had to go back to their own friend groups and whatnot. And that made me realize that, oh, I know so many people, but I always forget because most of the time I'm going home alone or I'm living home alone, um, or living at home alone, and it's something that is useful to recognize, but it also was something that was like, oh, okay, this is why. Even though like I am friends with these people and I love these people very much, I don't think I can ever I don't think I can ever be as close as I want to be with them as I'd like to. Just purely due to access. Like that there are things that they would like to do that I want them to do that I can't go with them on. um So yeah, there was a moment of that, and I also felt bad because like Suna was trying to like say hi to everyone and bye to everyone, but like she also had to go, so she's like, "I'm just gonna go bye." I'm just like, "Oh no, I didn't get a chance to say hi to Suna properly." I was like, "Bye, Suna. If you heard this, I need to catch up with you. I hopefully will catch up with you at the next event." Anyway, yeah, there was that, and then I also didn't get to say bye properly to the DSC team or DCS team. Even I made the mistake with DSC. No, I meant DCS. I didn't even get a chance to say probably to to buy to the DCS team because I got distracted by the idol stuff, and then they had left before I knew it. They didn't even let me know that they were leaving. And they're just like, oh, you look so busy. It's fine. I'll talk to you like some other time when I visit you downtown, kind of thing. I'm just like, Billy, that's not the same. I'm not gonna see some of these people for another year or so. But anyway, I think they were okay with it because they, one, took the selfie with me, and two, they signed off on my card. So yeah. Next time I did bug them on Discord later though. So yeah, it's all good. And then yeah, and then trekked home. Forgot that the World Cup was happening in a couple of weeks. Realized everybody was here for that. Everybody was going downtown for that. And so yeah, and then I did one more moment of self growth and checking my work. I wheeled my butt home from Union Station, which means I had to go uphill, all the way uphill. It took me, I think, about an hour to get home, just because I was constantly trying to zigzag as much as possible until I finally hit the road I was supposed to go up. I'm just like, okay, I can't zigzag anymore. I just have to keep going straight, and it's so steep. But I survived. I made it. Picked up some food along the way, and then I crashed out. Well, I showered first, and then I crashed out. And here we are. Yeah. I was worried I wasn't gonna be able to do the stream today, but turns out I did. Even if I have to pay money for a pass from now on, I'm probably gonna consider Anime North again. Whether I hotel with someone or not, that's a different story. I'll have to see. It might still be cheaper to go back and forth with Uber or something. I don't know. We'll figure that out when we get there. Hell yeah. Yeah. But I would like to still be able to go to Otakuthon at least once within the near future. So we'll have to see how 2027 unfolds. Definitely not going this year, unfortunately. Unless by some stroke of fate something happens. Highly doubt it. Mostly I'll be focusing on Japan Festival, Canada. Yeah. Yeah. Now I have to go back to working on my debut. Yeah. But yeah, today was a good way to check how my how streaming with YouTube Studio works, and I think ultimately I am gonna reconsider some things. Also, thanks for letting me cry, bawl my eyes out in front of y'all. I appreciate it. Now I have to blow my nose and rehydrate. So, okay. And with that, thanks for watching. Be it currently on chat or through the VOD in the future. Have a brave night. Danny!